Here's a simple statement. If you can't eat, you can't function. Period. I'd say at least 5, if not 10%. So 1 in 20, if not 1 in 10 of the kids that I see with ADHD, with anxiety, with autism, actually cannot eat. And if you cannot eat, everything else goes to hell. I'm sorry to say this, but it is that plain and simple. And, in the holistic medicine world, we love treating the gut. We love eliminating foods and we focus on all this stuff. Guess what? If you can't eat, if your kid can't eat, if their eating mechanism is broken, everything else goes to hell. Because you know what? If you can't chew foods, if you're limited to 2 or 3 foods, and when the eating mechanism is broken, the likelihood of obstructive sleep apnea goes through the roof. So a lot of the kids that I see, the reason why they're falling apart is because they can eat maybe 3 foods, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, 1 type of chicken nugget, mac and cheese, maybe pizza, and that's it. No vegetables, no proteins. They can't handle foods. And this is the most important part, they have never been able to eat foods. So there's a difference because there's some kids that, start off great. They eat everything. They eat vegetables, they eat meats, they eat everything. And then when they're 3 or 4, they start becoming picky and then they become a pain in your butt. And now they're not eating. That is different than these other kids. These other kids, they had a hard time breastfeeding. They choke and gag when they're 1 or 2 years old. So you're starting to give them solids and they just choke and gag and they spit it out. And then they go on to continue. Not suddenly, they continue to be picky eaters. Guess what happens if you've never been able to eat vegetables? Guess what happens if you've never been able to eat clean proteins? Your microbiome goes to hell. If you can't chew food, guess what? Those chunks of gluten and dairy that just go down and all you eat is gluten, dairy, gluten, dairy, gluten, dairy. Guess what that does? It irritates the gut. And it's not to say that the gut protocols aren't important. It's not to say that food sensitivities aren't an issue. It's not to say we shouldn't treat the microbiome. But if you can't eat, why would you fix the intestines if you don't fix the eating mechanism? And because of this, because of how important this discussion is, and I see this being missed all the time. People come to see me after being consulted on with a bunch of other people, and they've done this elimination diet, and they've done this, and I treated the gut, and blah, 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 and my kid is still bad. And then I talk to them. I'm like, your kid can't eat. And they're like, I know. I'm like, well, you need to fix that. And they're like, how? So this is a conversation around this because, you may think like, oh, Dr. K, you're just making this up. So you know what I did? I invited 2 of the smartest people I know to have this discussion with me. Because you know what? You may be like, oh, well, he's kind of blowing smoke up the other end. And I'm like, oh, fine, fair. But so what did I do? I asked a Stanford-trained, UCLA-trained ENT, one of the smartest people that I've ever met, Dr. Soroush Zaghi, who literally teaches the course on eating mechanism. He teaches the course on tongue ties. He teaches other physicians, other surgeons, other dentists in terms of how to recognize all of this. And I also invited Dianne Bahr. So who's Dianne Bahr? Dianne Bahr is the gal who helps inform the American Academy of Pediatrics on what they should teach to their future physicians. She's at that level. She informs the American Academy of Pediatrics on what they should teach. She is the person who has literally written the book on how to feed a child. She is the person that teaches other speech therapists and other eating therapists on what they need to look for. And sadly, we are just at the beginning of this, and I'm so blessed to have had these people in my life because without them, I'd be clueless right now. I wouldn't be here talking to you about this. I wouldn't be able to identify these things. And I really want you guys to tune in because this video that we'll be releasing soon will actually talk about these things and talk about the complexity of eating and talk about how tongue ties and other things can ultimately impact the child's ability to eat. But at the end of the day, this is what I want you to remember. If a kid can't eat, everything else starts falling apart. And when a child has a tongue tie, which is one of the reasons why kids can't eat, they ultimately go on to develop disordered breathing of sleep. They develop obstructive sleep apnea. It's a very common thing, and it's being missed all the time. If your kid doesn't have it, chances are another kid in your child's classroom has it. And probably 1 in 10 kids who are diagnosed with ADHD or anxiety have this as their primary reason, their sole reason of why everything else happened. Because think about it. Gut falls apart. Ultimately, they develop nutritional deficiencies. They develop inflammation, which does not do well with this brain. They go on to develop sleep apnea. They choke, they gag, they toss and turn in their sleep. And who can function? Who can function if with all of these things happening at the same time? So I really encourage you to tune in and watch this video and take away the pearls that these people have and share this discussion with other people, because we need to get this out there. We need everyone to be thinking about, like, well, before I treat the gut, is the kid able to eat? Before we address all of these other issues, can the child actually handle new foods? Do they even know how to chew and swallow? And if they don't, maybe we start with that and then go on to address these other things. And this is where holistic care comes in. It's literally about looking at all of this together and piecing it together to see why things fell apart. And when we can do that, that's when amazing things can happen. And this is what I want for every kid out there, because this shouldn't be something that's existing in little bubbles, which is the case right now. So I want you to help me share this information with other people. So share this video, this introductory video, and once the other video is released, I hope you guys can tune in and watch it. It's a little bit of a long video, about an hour, but there's a lot of wisdom that is being shared. And I hope we can get this message out there and get people talking. Because that's how we change things. That's how we improve the lives of these kids and help every kid be as healthy as they can be. Thanks so much for listening. This is Dr. K. Be well.